I've been commissioned to recreate this piece on this scale. So I had to go into my secret files and find my emotions. I saw a video the other day that was like, taking your own art references is so unserious, and I just exposed the one I did for the scrambled head in my portfolio video, but these pictures for the emotions are something else for sure. I think I want each expression to take up like that much space. So I actually already tried to redo the expressions, but I didn't make them big enough. So it felt like a good time for a lesson in gridding references, and in this case, like scaling up. It's funny because this is a piece that I never really expected to be popular, but in person, kind of seeing how it resonates with people in different ways is pretty cool. And for them to like it so much, they want it bigger and better. So I'm excited to be working on this, and it was in the creative act as well that they talk about you're never creating art alone. You're creating art in collaboration with the art that has come before you, with prior versions of yourself, the art to come. And yeah, it's just cool. I don't know, I feel like I'm giving new life to it, and stay tuned to see how it comes out. So this was originally 1 inch. We're gonna double it, 2 inches square for our new grid. Doing this with a reference is kind of a life hack, because you just look at your picture and start somewhere, and I see that it's coming out here, my forehead. And then it ends, like there's a little triangle here. It's almost like connect the dots. It looks like this kind of lands in the middle of the square. Cheek comes back in, straightens out. Like it already looks like I can tell that I'm far because I'm further into the square, like proportionally, because I made the cheek kind of like contour back in compared to just like even out and then cut down. Sometimes I start at the next line, like I can tell that's where I should end up, just to make sure I land in the right spot. So that's the outline. And then even for expressions, like you kind of take the dimension. This one's kind of hard, but I feel like it's easy to start with the nose, and like just seeing like the bridge kind of cuts through here. and then in a little bit, and then curves back up for the eye. Same of the eyebrow, like kind of coming up here, straightening out just after that grid line. So while I'm working on the expressions, I wanted to talk a little bit about concept development for this piece. And in AP Art, we were really encouraged to generate multiple thumbnails of a concept before committing to one execution of it. So I found this planning I did. Looks like I was thinking of a string idea, kind of like sensory overload, or this sideways slot machine expression thing. And then in this bottom right corner is the idea I ended up using, having expressions on tracing paper and then layer them to have varying opacities. And I even note that this looks the most accurate in terms of my experience. This piece being about illustrating sporadic emotions as a symptom of traumatic brain injury. It was also cool timing to go over some ideation because I've been following this artist, Miles Johnston, and he shares a lot of behind the scenes, like, again, ideation and iterations of pieces that end up just like super cool. X's are the next level of gridding. So I thought that I had this eye maybe wrong, but it's pretty accurate. Like as far as like I'm looking at these triangles that it makes on either side, and the fact that the inner corner lines up with this mark, whereas this eye, it crosses in the middle of the iris. This whole eye is sitting on top of that cross mark, so I actually need to edit that one. So I did some math, and there was gonna be a lot of white space on that size, and he said he had space for like 2 by 3 feet, but because we're scaling them up to 100% and that piece was originally 11 by 14, I'm going to do it on 22 by 28. This piece is called the emotions, and those are often at play in the creative process for me. And we're going to add a little extra emotion here. I'm going to go over 2 ways to splatter paint. Firstly, you kind of want to think about like how far do I want this to be able to go. So I'm going to cover up some areas I'm not really looking to get red in per se. And you could just use paper or whatever, but this is a pretty good amount of coverage for right now. This could be a whole new piece. So the first technique is kind of like using a magic wand. You want more medium. Any type of paint, in this case watering down the watercolor, and then it's like a magic wand. So I'm having it here, and then I'm just gonna throw some paint down. Abracadabra, you know what I mean? And then this other technique, I'm not even gonna pick up more paint. This is the catapult. So you're gonna pull back and release, and that's gonna give like a finer splatter. That was beautiful, I love that. This is like my version of Inside Out mixed with Split. Yeah, pretty cool. I like how it came out. I feel like you can kind of interpret some of the details better. Like, the eyes are cut out, the mouth, this eye, some of this expression. And then on this scale, it's more of like sharp edges and opacity, like being built with the layers of vellum. It looks nice in natural light too. And now we're gonna deliver it to its new home in Sarasota.